Now here's something that's going to surprise you. Mehgan Markle probably doesn't even know who I am. I'm Bill Snodgrass. Welcome to this episode.
I know what a lot of you are thinking. Mehgan Markle doesn't know Bill Snodgrass. How can that be? I'm pretty sure it's a pretty good chance. But, to be completely honest, until a little while ago when all that stuff, I was at the grocery store one day, found out there was going to be a wedding in the royal family. So, I was at that little checkout line in the magazines. So, it kind of goes both ways. As I was getting ready to come and do this thing, I looked up to see who she was, and because I don't know anything about her. And it turns out her father was a lighting director for some TV shows and things, some daytime TV and some Chicago daytime TV show. So her dad is a lighting director. Now this is kind of around the point that I'm going to make in this video, but that made me think a little bit. So I was trying to put myself in the shoes of Mehgan Markle. Growing up, her dad is the director of photography, and then what happened? Now she's the Duchess of someplace I forgot. How do you go from that to that? It has to be surreal. It has to be one of those things, I'm sure her family's great. I'm sure they did some amazing and some awesome things, but there's only one royal family of England, and that's a big deal. I have some friends in England, and it's like this is a big thing, and it's got to be surreal. And now, if you believe what the grocery store checkout line tells you, there is a plot. There is a plot to murder her. And I'm sure that the British Secret Service appreciates the investigative work that these tabloids are doing, because I'm sure they're going to get on top of this and nip this in the bud. That murdering the princess thing, that's not. So it's a good thing these tabloids are on the case. These tabloids have figured it out, and they're gonna nip this in the bud. This video, by the way, is about significance, and up to this point, it has definitely probably not been significant. So I'm gonna get some tea, and then we're gonna go somewhere, and we're gonna talk about being significant. Being significant. What does that mean? What is being significant? So stick with me. This is actually going somewhere.
No tea. Yeah, no tea.
So what does it mean to be significant? What is significance? We sometimes talk about lives being significant and making a significant contribution to humanity and those kinds of things. So what exactly is significance? In science, in research, in science, there's a concept called statistical significance. And what that means is that when two things are done and the outcome is different, that the one that is if the difference is statistically significant, that means it's not just random chance. It means that something about one of those trials made a difference. And I want to kind of take that idea of making a difference to sort of ground this conversation about being significant as a person, being significant as a creator, being significant as a human in society. Significance, we're going to say, is that you are whatever you're doing, it's making a difference. The guy that invented penicillin or whatever, that was a significant contribution. I don't think he invented penicillin. I think he discovered it, because you know what I mean. Thomas Edison and the light bulb. Big. That was significant. That was a very significant contribution to humanity. But do you have to be a world changer to say that you have done something significant?
There's a story that's been around for a long time that's supposed to tell us that our individual contribution is significant, that our individual contribution is important. And the story goes like this. There was a big storm down in the Gulf or somewhere. There was a big storm. And as a result of the storm, all these starfish, a lot of you probably heard this, all these starfish washed up on shore. And so a marine biologist goes down to the beach and he looks, and as far as you can see down the beach this way, and as far as you can see down the beach this way, starfish all on the beach. They've washed up in the storm, and then the tides have receded and left them stranded. And he looks at it and he thinks the uncountable number of starfish that are going to die because they're out of the water. And then he notices a little boy who's walking along the shore, and the little boy's picking up starfish and throwing them back in, And the biologist walks down and he says, "What are you doing?" And the little boy goes, "I'm throwing this. Are you blind? What's wrong?" He didn't say that. He was polite. He was a polite young man. He says, "I'm throwing the starfish back in." And the biologist was a little overcome by the magnitude of the starfish that were going to die, and he says, "Son, don't you see that the beach goes on for as far as we can see in both directions? The number of starfish that you're going to get back in the water before they die, it's not going to make any difference." And the little boy reaches down and he picks up another starfish. He throws it back into the water and he looks at the biologist and he says, "It's going to make a difference to that one." Now there's a lot of truth in that story. So the starfish story is supposed to make us think, oh, well, we can all personally be involved. We all can personally take a part in making things better. I want to push back against that a little bit. There's another story that somewhere along the way, the story was meant to do sort of the same thing. I can't remember where I heard the story. I'm presuming it was in one of my grad classes or something. But the story was about a church that was in an area where there was some homeless people, and a new pastor came in and he wanted to get started and get things going. And he looked around the community to see what one of the needs were, and there were lots of homeless people. And he thought, maybe I can pull in the ministers from the other churches and the rabbi, and I can get a whole community thing going. And so he had them all come to the church, and they all went in the conference room, and they were trying to come up with this strategy to deal with and to improve the situation for the people who were homeless that lived in the community. So he came out to get a pad of paper or something, and he notices a homeless man is talking to this church secretary. And she's talking to him, and she says, "Well, it was good seeing you at church Sunday. Come back next week." And she handed him a Ziploc bag that had a sandwich in it. And he left, and the minister asked the secretary, "What was that all about?" And she goes, I make a dozen sandwiches at home and bring them in each day. And the homeless people who visit us at church, they come around and I give them sandwiches." And then the question that was asked after that story was, who's doing the right thing? The group that's in the conference room planning, or the lady sitting at the desk who's actually doing? Who is being significant? Who is making a difference in the lives of those homeless people? Now here's where I want to push back on the starfish story and on the peanut butter and jelly sandwich story. I didn't mention that. They were peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I want to push back on that, because she's helping 12 people a day, or 8, or however many. Maybe she gives 2 sandwiches to some people. This consortium of community leaders are trying to find a systematic intervention that will change it for lots and lots of people, that will make things better for lots and lots of people. A shelter, a food pantry, something that can affect lots and lots of lives. So who did the most work? Who was the most significant? Who made the biggest difference? The lady that's very graciously and kindly feeding a few people every day, or this group of community leaders who are trying to attack the problem at its root? Who do we need? Do we need 25 people making 12 sandwiches each? Let's see if I can do this math. That would be 300 sandwiches, I think. If they all made 300 sandwiches, does that even touch the problem? Does that actually solve the problem, or is it just a temporary fix? The kid throwing starfish back in. What if the biologist went back to the university and pulled together a group and they came up with a way of saving thousands of starfish? So who do we need? Who do we need in society? You're not gonna be surprised by this. Here's my theory. We need people to dig in and make a difference on a large scale. You pick your topic, and we need people to make a difference on a large scale. Whenever we'd go fishing, my dad would always walk around and pick up all the trash. He ended up with a big garbage bag full of trash. He was making a difference in a small area. There was a park out Indiana Dunes where they had this whole program of trash collection where every hiker would take a trash bag and pick up trash along the way, make it a large systematic difference. Plus, information about not littering, large systematic difference versus one person making a difference in their place. Which do we need? Large systematic differences or personal localized differences? Both. That's my answer. That's my answer. We need both. We need people to say, there is one person standing here in front of me who needs some help, and I am going to step up and help them. And we need people to say, there is a population of people who are struggling with this issue. We need a systematic intervention. I don't think it's an either or. I don't think we pat the little boy on the back and scorn the marine biologist. I don't think we pat the secretary on the back and scorn the minister who's trying to develop a consortium. I think we need both. I think the problems of our society, if we're going to make a difference, if we're going to stand for something and make a difference in this world, whatever it is, we need to do it where we are at the moment in the situation that we are currently in, and we need to back off, take the bigger picture, and look for a systematic intervention. That is how differences come to be. That's how we make a difference in the world. That's how we change the world. That's how we change things. We change things on a one-on-one level, and we change things by digging into the entire system and looking for places that it can be changed. What are you going to do with this one? Well, I hope you're going to hit the like button. I hope you're going to subscribe to the channel. Hope that you will leave me a comment or a question. And I guess we're done. I guess that's all I got. Go out into your world, make a difference where you are, and then look for opportunities to make big changes. See you in the next episode. Starfish. We were talking about starfish, weren't we? Let's just go with that. 25 times 12. Wow, can't do that in my head. 25 times 4 is 100. Yeah, 300 sandwiches. Do what you can do where you are when you're there, and look for ways that you can invest and plow into the entire system and make changes that helps everybody in a big way. That's your epilogue. Don't forget to hit the like button.